Chapter 9, The Speech. So when we left off, you were still in town for that speech that you're supposed to give later. You were asked by the butler of the king of the Falling Moon Kingdom, who I apparently had already named King Titus and just did not remember that. The king of the Falling Moon Kingdom has asked you to give a speech in front of the Senate in order to explain what happened at St. Greg's Place, which is where that giant battle happened. The speech is this afternoon. You're pretty much free to kind of screw around town for a minute. Greg and Abe are with you, and that's where you're at right now. In standard Bree fashion, you do a little jig as you get up beside Abe and Greg, and you go, "Hey, you know how St. Greg's Place got devastated and a bunch of people died? What do you think?" And did a little dance. They're sort of used to your behavior by now, and they're fine with that. And Abe is more than jealous that he was not there for that. But Greg seems very happy that he wasn't. Abe would have very much liked to have been in the fight with you. After all, his dad was killed by pirates, and so the idea of killing some pirates is pretty much the whole reason that he signed up to be in the army in the first place. While you were drafted, he actively wanted to be in the army. So there's that going on. Just a little interpretive dance to express your grief and drama. You know, as you do. Sort of hanging out on the street with your friends. Chilling, having a good time. Explaining the traumas of war while doing a little jig. And suddenly, from right next to you, someone just starts screaming "He took my purse!" And there's a dude just blitzing down the sidewalk, just being like, "Get away from me!" You tackle the dude to the ground and grab his ears in order to stop him from running away with the purse. Standing back up, the five of you all stand in a circle. Greg makes sure that he isn't going to go anywhere, and Abe checks on the woman as she runs up and says, thank you so much. He took my purse, and what happened to Abe's here? He's just a guy. He's like that, my dude. He took my purse, and had you guys not been there, he would have just gotten away with it. The guy who had the purse previously says, it's my bag. I don't know what she's talking about. She keeps yelling at me that it's her bag, and it's not. It's my bag, and Can you just tell her to get away from me? You decide to take the gentleman aside and ask him what's in the bag. You open up the bag and look inside. It looks like a comb, a book, and some random candy, and that's about it. He says, I want to make sure my first day is good. I bring some breath mints with me. I got a book in there, but don't look inside the book. Just don't look inside the book. Think there might be some cash in there. I don't remember. You decide to read the book anyway. The gentleman tries to knock it out of your hand, or at least go, no, just give it to her. Whatever. I don't care. Just don't read it. You start reading it, and it's quite possibly the worst handwritten poetry that you've ever read in your life. Quite possibly the worst thing ever. Absolutely abysmal. Half of it doesn't rhyme. I think there was an attempt to rhyme. Maybe I should put that down. Poetry doesn't necessarily need to rhyme. However, if you're attempting to rhyme, you should probably, make it rhyme. Publish the poetry in the local paper? You maniac. You evil person. Why would you do that? This is a civil forfeiture, and I'm putting this in the paper. You decide to go ahead and close up the purse and go and check and see what she thinks is inside the bag. Abe pulls you aside. Dude, I think she's crazy, dude, because she's saying, I don't know. She can't tell me a straight story on she's saying this. He's saying this off to the side. She's saying there's all sorts of different stuff in there, and none of it is that. As he looks in the bag, I don't think it's hers, man. She said that there was a wallet and some. She said there was a book, and then she said there was some papers. Very sussy indeed. Ask her if D's is in there. DNA test the comb to see whose it is. All right, how about I go ahead and open up redemptions again so you guys can decide what you want to do. Ask about the contents of the book. You asked the woman, I assume sidelined, about what the contents of the book were. She says, it's my diary. I keep it on me in case if I need to put down notes. And about my job? Yeah, no, this is still shitty poetry. That's 100% not a diary. All right, lady, we can't seem to find any of your belongings in your bag. In the bag. Well, he must have taken it out and ran off with it and hidden it. From the moment that you saw that she screamed to the point that you tackled him, he had like seconds to take everything out of the purse and then switch everything out. So you look her square in the eye and say, bruh, he didn't have time for that. Don't try fooling us. And then you boggle. She looks like she's going to try and say something to confirm that, like, no, you're wrong or whatever, but she kind of just gives up halfway through, like, starting a sentence. You get back to the rest of the group. Can I have my bag back? Greg asks, what do you want to do? You give the bag back to, I assume, the gentleman based on what you guys have been saying, and you begin to dance aggressively. You're very upset. You question the woman, and you say, why did you do that? Why did you lie? Dancing aggressively all the while. You apologize to the gentleman while continuing to dance and say, I'm sorry for tackling you. Under the circumstances, I thought that you had robbed her. And I'm sorry for tackling you. And here's your bag back. May I have a mint? You continue to dance with the grumpiest look on your face you can manage. This is a normal thing to do. Abe says, I think based on what's happening here, me and Greg should go ahead and take her down to the station. We can write her up for this. I'm not entirely sure what exactly this is, but it's definitely at least a waste of our time. You need to go ahead and get on off to the castle anyway to go ahead and... The gentleman did not give you a mint. He's upset with you. You assaulted him. And then read his book after he asked you to not. And you asked him while aggressively dancing. We did not assault him. Here's 5 seconds ago. Anyway, irrelevant, give mint. I never assaulted you, you say while aggressively dancing. That's just detaining him. Not assault, battery. We're gonna go ahead and take her down to the station if that's all right with you, Bree, and you're free to go, sir. Sorry about the trouble. Bree's free to no. The gentleman is free to go. I'm gonna go ahead and open up redemptions. Free action. Hug Greg. This is a free action. You're allowed to hug your friends, cry, and or dance as a free action. You decide to thank your two squad mates for their assistance in this, and you make sure especially to thank Greg because you've been thinking uncharacteristically violent thoughts to him. He's a small lad and was also drafted into the army and doesn't necessarily even want to be here, but you've decided that is deserving of absolute violence. For some reason, you decide to pat Greg on the head and do a little victory dance because you successfully were able to figure out whose bag this was. And now you're just hanging out on the street by yourself. Bree has some fucked up intrusive thoughts for no reason. Offer to help the woman cross. We've already... You helped the woman cross the street again. You should probably... what places in town can you go to? Well, you sent a letter last time to your folks. At some point soon, you should go off to the castle and pick up your speech. But is there a flea market? That I love the implications of that. Anyway, back at the castle, you are there now. This is the castle where you will be given the speech that you can read. The butler leads you to a side room in the castle. This is the same butler that you met earlier today, and he gives you a speech that has been prepared for you. Now, the king says you're allowed to ad-lib a little bit, but we would appreciate it if you decided not to ad-lib too much. If you're not actually entirely sure what to say, just keep to the speech. We avoid the black tiles and only walk on the white tiles. You've decided that you're a bishop and only walk along the white tiles. Can we straighten this man's bow tie? Does he even have one? He doesn't have one. That's just his shirt. Straighten the man's imaginary bow tie. Okay. You'll need to head straight on over to the Senate so that way you can give your speech. He pushes you out the door, and you're back on your way outside the castle to go to the Senate. So the castle's on your left, and the Senate's straight ahead here. If we actually go back to the this view from last time, the castle is that big walled-in area, and then on the right, you can see there's a building with like a dome. That is the Senate, which is like just down the street, right here. Just for like the ability to understand where you are relative to anything else in this town. You head inside to the Senate, and you follow through the halls, and you find yourself in the main Senate floor. The main stage of the area is there's a skylight that allows the light from the midday sun to shine directly onto the stage, allowing everyone to see the person who's taking the stage at any given time. The king kind of pats you on the shoulder and says, "You'll do fine. Just stick with the script and you'll be fine." The king gets up on stage and begins speaking. I thank you all for being here today. As you know, these are difficult times, trying times, but as a Senate, it is a meeting such as this that allows us to come together and deal with this in the ways that need to be dealt with. I've asked Bree to come and speak on behalf of the soldiers at St. Greg's Place. Bree was the only survivor, and I hope that you will give them the respect that our soldiers in arms deserve. You come up on stage with your tiny notes, ready to give your speech. There's claps, but I didn't actually find... I didn't find a clap sound effect, so I apologize. Everyone clap. Clap yourself. Like, clap at home. You say, "Hello, I'm Bree. I'm a soldier in the service of the Falling Moon Kingdom and the Council. I help operate a deer tank." Everyone sits quietly and patiently as they nod their heads. You say, "Prior to the attack on St. Greg's, a pirate was arrested and interrogated, which allowed us to find the meeting location of the planning meeting. By going undercover, I was able to find out this plan and help successfully evacuate, or giving us the much-needed time to evacuate as much of the city as possible." Everyone continues to nod along, listening carefully. You begin to cry a little bit on stage. It was actually kind of traumatic reliving all this stuff. However, despite the brave efforts of the soldiers in the town, we were overwhelmed. I was the only survivor amongst them. Excuse me. The only survivor amongst them. It is soldiers like those that died that day that keep our city like St. Greg's Place and this capital safe from pirates and terrorists like the Black Paw. Now for the last portion of the speech. You decide to read the speech pretty much as is, but you switch out one sentence, which I will now attempt to read. I ask that you please consider asking our kings for additional aid to the Falling Moon Kingdom. We are strong together, but we also survive together. This alliance is built upon that principle. I thank you for listening and appreciate your consideration. The constituents continue to clap at the end of your speech. Clap at home, so that way there's sound effects. And with that, you get off stage. The meeting continues to drag on about other things for quite a while longer. That pretty much has absolutely nothing to do with that. It seems like including the exact next speech, have absolutely nothing to do with the issue that you were just talking about. And that's pretty much where I got done writing and drawing for this session.